Good day, everyone. We are Group 4 presenting Module 1, wherein we'll be discussing the summary, main arguments, central points, issues, and the group's critique of the following readings. So, for Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's A Single Story, it talks about how single stories develop stereotypes and presumptions, promoting the incomplete understanding of others. These stories take away the essence of truth, which can lead to wrong conclusions, making people simply fit into stereotypes and making them one-dimensional beings. Now, let's talk about Rachel Bullock's multiple meanings of development. Based on the title itself, there is no single monolithic meaning of development, which will be discussed on the main points. The meaning of development contains diverse interpretations from various people, depending on their beliefs, history, traditions, and viewpoints.
Now let's go to Bruce Knott's critically modern introduction. Modernity has become known not only to certain areas of the world, but all around it, often which centers on a Western-based ideology, with the Euro-American-centric perspective of modernity taking hold as a global idea. However, it must be noted that the manifestation of modernity or modernization is not homogeneous and may differ much like development. Finally, Wright Mills' The Promise. This talks about how people often feel trapped in their situations in the midst of change. We see our immediate surroundings and are often limited by it. However, this also challenges us to go beyond our own limited experiences. Through this, we realize the differentiating troubles and issues different regions and communities go through. This highlights the importance of sociological imagination, the ability to see the interconnections between individuals, history, and society, through which people are awakened to their circumstances. Now we go to the main arguments and central points.
In this module, we have the social factor and plurality of modernity as the main arguments. One of the main concepts is that our social context is a large factor in how a community develops and progresses to become modern. It pushes the idea that the definition of modernity differs from country to country, making modernity plural. However, the current society we have today only recognizes the Western standards of modernity, which gave rise to colonialism and capitalism, which sowed the seeds of the exploitation and marginalization of the global South, effectively impeding their national developments and progress. This significantly affected the modernity in these countries, but again, what the West considers as development and modernity is most probably different to how the nations perceive it. As such, the West's formula to become developed and modern is not applicable to every nation, let alone each of their local communities. Experiences, beliefs, and culture have a huge role on what determines these local standards, and these standards should be as valid as the Western standards despite what the norm thinks. With these factors in mind, we can be alternatively modern instead. To make it possible, we need a sociological imagination that sees the connections between social context and modernity. We need to open our minds and expose ourselves to different standards to determine and understand the effective ways that ensure each country is able to fully live and experience their own modernity. Next are the issues.
There are two main issues of modernity based on Module 1, multiple types of modernity, and the reality of post-modernity. As there are many different types of modernity for each country, and even in the community, the types of modernity could be seen to be divided into two categories, Western and non-Western modernities. Western modernity is the shining example for the definition of progress and being contemporary. Compared to other countries ever since the industrial age, other countries are seen to be less advanced and are to be helped. Western modernity has led these societies to live conveniently and allow mass production of products and services to everyone. Because of this switch, Western countries call for the reformation of other traditions and cultures with this foreign culture of Western modernity for economical prowess and political structure, while also benefiting from globalization and global trade of resources from other countries. In spreading its modernity and capitalism, the West get richer, and the colonized countries change their tradition and culture for progress that might not fit them. Non-Western countries, on the other hand, are led to believe that they are being liberated from primitive times and hardship, but are truly the products and victims of a foreign system. Through colonization, these European capitalist societies were being forced upon non-Western societies for expectedly mutual political and economical benefits, neglecting their different contexts and established traditions. The newly established system primarily focuses on the social roles and functions of the people to society, rather than their subjective identity, in the belief that participation in modern society could change their economy and lead to a better way of living, such as education and access to modern healthcare. However, the participation of Western-centric ideas may not be wholly effective in the application of local culture due to the context and beliefs of the people.
in the reality of postmodernity. One reality of postmodernity is how Western modernity is not the only form of modernity and development. There can be a balance of traditional or cultural development with contemporary development through the incorporation of Western practices. Other forms can be through the establishment of alternative development structures that would cater towards local communities' cultures, religions, and traditions.
For our critique, the group believes that development is a global manifestation visible in the constantly changing systems found around the world. Next, development is a moving concept, an unstoppable force coming from both ways. Like Aditya's single story, it cannot be assumed since stories can be found in multiple layers of truth. Similarly, as we enter new eras and modernity in which continual changes occur, the more visible we begin to unfold more stories. Western cultures are greatly affected the world's views of modernity and development. They have greatly influenced the framework through which we view the world. Through their influence, nations understood the importance of engaging in works of development in order to thrive. The reading shows a reality that we sometimes accept at face value without any questions nor resistance. The balance between the two, development and modernity, are essential in how we progress and understand our path moving forward as a society. Development and modernity are journeys. There is always an opportunity to learn from others in our pursuit for change and progress. Lastly, the Philippines has utilized the idea of development and modernity to further its economy, society, culture, and architecture. But in order to truly develop into a modern society, change needs to occur within the Philippines instead of simply adopting foreign ideas and policies or do away with Western modernity. Thank you and have a good day.